Welcome back to the talk show, where rock and roll has always been our business. This is the Allan Handelman Show, now serving the rock culture worldwide.
Welcome back. Rudy Sarzo is with us, talking about the death of Randy Rhoads, his brand new band, playing with Ozzy. The Diary of a Madman tour was just crazy. But as we went into the break, you were talking about what Randy Rhoads really was like. I mean, at home, living with his mom.
All he cared about was being the best musician, the best composer, the best Randy Rhoads, that he could be. And he wanted to go back to school, get his degree in music. That's what really drove him, just to be the best musician, best composer, best teacher. Best teacher. As a matter of fact, if you see any photos of Randy playing live on stage, it's like he's showing you what he's doing with his guitar. There's a lot of clarity because he was so used to teaching guitar, before he started playing with Ozzy. As a matter of fact, while he was still playing, with Quiet Riot, that I guess he brought that with him on stage. He would show you how to play this. He would never hide or turn around or like to, make it obscure to see what he was doing. No, there's a lot of clarity in his playing. So he would, and any time that a guitar player would come up to him and ask him something musical, he would always take the time to answer and show him if he happened to have an instrument around. So definitely that's some of my favorite memories about Randy. I learned so much from him. I really did. So it was just, and since we were talking about me being the only member that actually played with him in Quiet Riot and Ozzy, let me tell you, it was a phenomenal metamorphosis. As soon as Randy left Los Angeles, where when we were playing with Quiet Riot here in Los Angeles, all we really cared about basically was trying to get a record deal. So we were pretty much at the mercy of what record companies were telling us, you guys should sound like this or you should do that and blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
And let's face it, Van Halen was the last rock band to get signed, out of the Los Angeles music scene in the 70s. And I'm talking about, 78, 79. That's when I was a member of Quiet Riot with Randy Rhoads.
Right.
And it was awful, unless you were like a new wave or...
That's a good point. That's a good point. I remember the time, yeah.
Yeah, which is the reason why Randy decided to leave, because it was a dead-end situation here, So as soon as he joined Ozzy, he asked Ozzy, so, what do you want me to write? How do you want me to play? And Ozzy just said, listen, just be yourself. Just go ahead and be the best Randy Rhoads that you can be.
The interesting thing, I believe it was in chapter 19 of the book, you believe there was a struggle on the plane before the crash. You want to tell us a little bit about that? Yeah.
It's pretty tough for me to talk about the crash. That was my main motivation for writing the book, so I could just for once, just lay it on paper and people could, whoever's interested. But since you asked me, I'll definitely. Yeah, there was a struggle, and it was witnessed by our tour manager, Jake Duncan, and Don Airy, who were both on the ground taking photos of the plane, and they saw the struggle. They saw the plane going from side to side. The wings. I don't know technical, aeronautic, terms, whatever. But it was just the wings were going, up and down like that. So basically, the plane came in perpendicular to the ground. That's how it clipped the bus that we were sleeping in. Sharon and Ozzy were in the back lounge, and I was in one of the bunks, and so was Tommy Aldridge. And that's how we woke up. We woke up to the impact, the boom of the plane hitting the bus.
Wow.
So if it would have come in at a different angle, it would most likely crash into the bus, and everybody would have perished. So yeah, I truly believe in the bottom of my heart, from the photos that I've seen that were taken by Jake Duncan and Don Airy, and what I was told by them, who actually witnessed it on the ground, that Randy, tried to prevent the plane from crashing into the bus and saved our lives. Absolutely.
Yep, and again, you have a great attitude in answering these questions over and over again. This is really exciting because the album we're talking about, the new album and the new band,
Animetal USA.
Animetal USA. Okay.
USA. Yeah, Animetal USA, and we're so proud of those two albums. Let's put it this way. We started the record early last year. We started working on the arrangements and, going in the studio, doing the drum tracks. And around that time, that's when the tsunami happened. And, it was last year. Yeah.
Mm-hmm,
and, because, we actually released two albums in less than a year. So, it's kind of, I just wanted to make sure that it was right. Yeah.
Right.
And the whole mindset was to people in Japan, let's do something special for them. Let's really go out the extra mile on this record and go beyond anything we have ever done on any album as far as our performances, our attention to detail, everything about the record. It had to be as a way of us not only trying to bring, something positive to Japan, who was going through so many, heartbreaking experiences, but also to say thank you to the fans that have been supporting us, all of us. All of us have toured in Japan for many years. I have been touring in Japan for 30 years now. I started with Ozzy 30 years ago. Then I went on to tour with Quiet Riot, Whitesnake, DIO. So it's. And they're always supporting metal.
Oh, they love metal. That's amazing. Yeah. So, and they really respect when they hear a record where they actually hear certain performances. Absolutely.
That they know that, that a lot of energy and attention of detail has gone into it. They're very appreciative,
I remember a band they used to have, a band called EZO. Did you ever hear EZO?
Oh, yeah, EZO, of course, yeah. The Bees, X, all of that. Oh, yeah, there's some incredible bands.
Are they still around, EZO?
They just go in different incarnations. They get together, they break apart, they put other projects together and stuff like that.
Right.
So, they still are functioning.
Rudy, let's take a break here. It's Rudy Sarzo, bass guitarist, legendary rock and roller from Ozzy Osbourne, Quiet Riot, Whitesnake, Yngwie Malmsteen, Blue Oyster Cult, and now Animetal USA. Coming up later, Pat Buchanan, the Mafia Lady is back, and Beatle expert Robert Rodriguez.
Stay tuned for more of the Allan Handelman Show.
Hey, it's Allan Handelman. There's so many good reasons to make sure your dogs and cats get the highest quality pet food. First of all, it's the best way to extend their lives next to regular vet visits. That could mean 3 to 4 more years of life. And by feeding the highest quality food and treats, that means fewer health issues to deal with. Now, you probably think it's going to cost more buying holistic, natural, human-grade pet food. And in most cases, it probably does, but not at the Pet Pantry. Not only are the prices at the Pet Pantry about the same as they are at the big box stores, at the Pet Pantry, the delivery is absolutely free right to your door anywhere in the Triangle and Triad. FeedYourPets.com. FeedYourPets.com, where the pet food ingredients are not only human grade, but certified to be from American sources. And that's something you don't see at the supermarkets. Here's how you get $5 off your first order. Use this code ALLAN. FeedYourPets.com.
You heard it pays to donate your car for a nice tax write-off. Please choose your charity well. Since 1983, Cancer Fund of America has helped cancer patients and their families deal with the devastation that is the Big C. Help us fund this vital work, and Cancer Fund will make donating your car extra easy with the fastest free pickup. Then you write it off. Operators are standing by to take your call this very minute at 800-676-2180. Donate boats, trailers, and all vehicles, running or not. Cancer Fund handles DMV, the works. Call now and donate that car. Cancer Fund gets it out of your hair pronto. Call 800-676-2180. That's 800-676-2180. Call now. 800-676-2180. Thank you.
You go to the bank. The identity thief does too. Except he's setting up a checking account in your name. 2 lives. The difference? The thief is dedicated to ruining yours. That's why you need to call 1-800-984-1447 and get LifeLock Ultimate, the most comprehensive identity theft protection available. Call 1-800-984-1447 to get peace of mind. After all, LifeLock Ultimate is the only identity theft protection service that monitors bank accounts for takeover fraud. Call 1-800-984-1447 to get a risk-free 60-day trial of LifeLock Ultimate. If you're not happy, call LifeLock within 60 days of enrollment and you won't pay a cent. Use promo code COVER. Check lifelock.com for details. Call 1-800-984-1447 for LifeLock Ultimate. Network does not cover all transactions and scope may vary.
Attention taxpayers, if you've received a notice from the IRS or state, do not ignore it. It's also a big mistake to try and handle your tax problem on your own. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, it's a fact the government has the power to take everything you own, including your home, business, wages, savings, and your freedom. But here's the good news. There are new programs that are geared to help you dramatically settle, reduce, or eliminate what you owe. But you have to call now. Take down this number or put it in your cell phone, but call 866-577-4676. 866-577-4676. When you call, you'll get free information on how you can reduce or eliminate back taxes, including penalties and interest. You can also be helped if you have unfiled returns, a tax lien, wage garnishment, bank levy, or if you have entered into a payment plan but can't make the payments. Don't make the big mistake in thinking you can ignore or handle your tax problem on your own. You can stop the collection process immediately. Call the Consumer Tax Hotline today for free information at 866-577-4676. That's 866-577-4676.
Hi, this is Ozzy Osbourne, and you're listening to The Allan Handelman Show.
It was a Diary of a Madman tour where things were really falling apart after the death of Randy Rhoads. What you're hearing in the background actually was from the Blizzard of Oz, but the guy who was with Ozzy at his peak was Rudy Sarzo, and the same thing for Quiet Riot and Yngwie Malmsteen and Blue Oyster Cult and Animetal. Well, Blue Oyster Cult in the latter years, not in the years when they had their biggest hits. But talk about Whitesnake, if you will, because you were there at a peak period.
You know, actually, we were. I was in the band from '87 to '94, so that's a pretty good run. You know, so. But no, I mean, David was great. As a matter of fact, when we took a break after the '90 tour, the Slip of the Tongue tour, he had given us notice at the very beginning of the tour that was going to happen. So, yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's right, because that's the way he ran things. He never really stuck with people long. Now it's coming back to me, yeah.
Yeah, but, you know, he was very cool to work with, and I have nothing but great memories. Yeah, absolutely.
Off the Rails is still available. And let me, again, you had a website for Off the Rails. Is it still available? Is that link still out there? The book still available?
Yes, it's still available. It's available on Amazon. Yeah, everywhere.
And AnimetalUSA.com. AnimetalUSA.com. Go ahead. Continue there, Rudy.
Yeah, I was going to say that it's RudySarzo.com where they can actually order the book.
RudySarzo.com. I love the album. I only have these 2 cuts. We're going to play it. I'm going to get the rest of it. And I'm telling you, there's something special about it. There's a magic. There's a quality. There's an audio fidelity. It's produced. Does not sound like an amateur production, which you hear on so many of the new metal albums that come out sometime. Very compressed. This really sounds amazing.
Yeah, everybody does an incredible job on this record. I mean, you know, we... you know, this is very special to us. You know, this is not something that we're just going to go in there and you know, and also it's particular to the genre of music that we're doing. Since it's speed metal, there has to be a lot of accuracy. Mm-hmm. You know, a lot of, like I mentioned before, attention to detail. You know, to us is everything.
And you play a character, Stormbringer. And
That's right.
And if you see the videos, you know, you go through how much theatrics are involved in the show.
Yeah, well, Animetal USA falls into the category of a certain Japanese performance style that is called Visual K, which is basically blending theatrics and hard rock metal. You know, so we wear kabuki makeup, which is traditional Japanese performing makeup, and the outfits, you know, we are superheroes. We have to play like superheroes, look like superheroes.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And
it's a lot of fun.
And you also donated, it was your digital animation that's on the artwork. It's you created. Is that
correct? On the videos, yeah. You
Yeah.
know, we talked about it before that I am, one of the reasons why I'm a member of the group is because I am an animator. I also do visual effects, you know, just like, you know, that's like fundamental. If you're going to do animation, you're going to know how to composite and do some, you know, lightings and stuff like that. And, you know, it's all part of the training.
Well, that's fine. This is the final question because I want to have you on again and we can elaborate. But I understand you have a new book coming out on nutrition, the nutrition side of Rudy Sarzo. I think that sounds pretty cool because the idea of how to survive rock and roll and stay healthy, that's cool. I think that's a great concept for a book.
Yes, we're actually aging well, basically.
Yeah.
It's all about wellness and staying in because you know you'll be surprised what goes on backstage. You know, when musicians get together, we talk more about not only what musical knowledge, but also we share a lot of how do you stay in shape? You know, how do you keep yourself from, like, for example, I had a conversation one day with Yngwie Malmsteen about tendinitis, you know, and here I am, and he reveals to me that potassium is the key to helping anybody that's got tendinitis, tennis elbow, and things like that. And he got that information from Richie Blackmore. So I started taking potassium pills, and it changed my life. Now, as a matter of fact, I take a lot of anti-inflammatories, such as, of course, the glucosamine, flaxseed, and stuff like that.
No kidding, that's great.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's incredible. I mean, it's just incredible. Just taking supplements, certain vitamins, And another thing is now I'm gluten-free, which has really helped me immensely with my digestion and my allergies.
Really? Okay,
So,
that's it. Now, when is this book coming out? Just to get an idea, because this sounds like a perfect concept for serving the rock culture. I mean, come on, this is perfect.
Yes, not only that, not only are we coming up with a book, but also we're coming up with a line of supplements for not only the professional musician, but also the weekend warrior. Because, I do these events called Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp.
Yeah.
And, I meet a lot of musicians who are, they have, certain vocations, lawyers, doctors, whatever. And then on the weekends, they get together and play. So it means that for the whole week, they haven't really touched the instrument. So they try to perform at their top level, just all of a sudden.
Right.
It could be a shock to your system, a shock to your joints, to your muscles and everything. So we're going to be coming up with a line of supplements to help alleviate and deal with that and, share certain knowledge.
Hey, let me know when that happens. I want to talk about that. I think it's a great idea. Rudy Sarzo, wonderful having you back on the Allan Handelman Show. You're always a great interview, and congratulations. This is another hot project, Animetal.
Thank you, Allan.
USA.
Thank you. I look forward to return to your show.
The best website for Rudy Sarzo is simply his name, rudysarzo.com. Coming up later, more on scams with Steve Wiseman, also Pat Buchanan, the Mafia Lady, and Beatle expert Robert Rodriguez.
Stay tuned for more of The Allan Handelman Show.